Welcome to Dreamdata, to another video about how to understand the platform. Today we're going to look at training on performance and journeys. This is the first video on the onboarding plan. We're going to have 3 different sessions, and this session is about performance and journeys only. Performance and journeys are 2 different reports which are closely connected with each other. What is performance about? So performance consists of acquisition, content, paid, and organic reports. The key characteristic of all the reports is the same. So we're looking at campaigns, channels, and contents. We are trying to optimize our go-to-market initiatives. And the whole point is we're looking at a certain amount of cost that we have spent, for example, for paid content. And we'd like to understand how many leads or deals have we achieved or generated so far. The key word here is so far, as we are looking into the future. So from a spend point to forward to the future. The first report, acquisition, will help you analyze which channels, sources, and campaigns have contributed to generating a certain amount of leads so far. Content will help you to understand what content on your website, which you have previously mapped out, is actually performing best at the moment. Paid will help you to understand which campaigns are generating leads. You'll be able to look into your Google spend, for example, social media. Then we have also organic, which is looking at, you have under organic, you'll have the Google search, social media, and SEO. Now let's understand how that is connected to journeys. Journeys consists of companies, contacts, and deals. Journeys is a report that is directly connected to your CRM system. However, we do have a difference between companies and contacts. So the point of journeys is to show you all the deals that you have in your CRM system, all the companies and contacts that we have identified through tracking, and then the full journey per deal, per contact and company, what content was working, what stakeholders have been involved in the journey, how far is our deal, and to understand a bit the dynamics of who has been involved at what point in time and what content is it that helps you to progress that deal. Be aware that contacts and companies are not matching one-on-one with your CRM system. This is because some of the contacts and companies we have identified through tracking, and it might be that you don't have that information in your CRM system. So we're actually providing you with things that you could not see before that suddenly appeared here because we are able to track also anonymous people. The full point of the customer journey is to get a full visibility. So that is, understand what stakeholders have been involved at what point in time and what activity brought what stakeholder to buy based on a specific time frame. Within the product, you will see it like this. You will see on the left-hand side our different people, paid specialists, CRM, data guy, and the CMO. And then you will see to the right all the different touch points that happened during the journey. So you'll see that something happened with Google Organics, then we had LinkedIn ads being there, then at some point we had a conversion, and we have then suddenly towards the end of the journey along a lot of meetings. Mostly you'll also see calls and emails happening here, and then you have a last touch point that we can see here being again Google Organic. Now we are ready to jump into the product. This is Dreamdata from inside. Once you have logged in, this is what you will see. For our training purposes, we will jump in the menu to performance and then go through our reports. The first report is the acquisition report. Each of the reports is built up the same way. You will have at the top a amount of filters that you can select from and that you can set up. You have the function of saving a report, which you will find later on again under Home, under Save Reports. That means you can set up the filters once and then use the report and come back to review the report with the live data, with new data. In case you want to share the report with the setup that you have selected from the filters, please use the symbol and then share that report with whomever you want to share it so that the person gets to see exactly the same thing that you're seeing with exactly the same filter setup. To the filters, we can set up date. That means we can jump in time. We can also select a fixed date range. Stage, based on the stages that we have set up. Some of you might have 5, 10, some of you might have only 3 or 2, which is my case. So you will be able to jump between the stages, and then you have something that is the attribution models. So you'll be able to switch between the models to see what is it showing you based on what is starting a journey, what is ending a journey, which channels are performing best. And then again, you can also, if you like to look just in specific channels, you can search for your channel or simply select it from that list. What is it that you would like to use? In the case that you'd like to use, for example, email, click on it and mark it will be checked, and then you'll be only going to apply in order to just see what emails have provided. You can also click on select all, then all channels will be selected, or by clicking again on channels and reset, it will set it up to the starting point where everything is deselected. Then you can select sources if you'd like to dive into specific sources, campaigns, ad groups. And then we have also more filters for you, which helps you to figure out data source. Where is the data coming from? Is it coming from HubSpot, your CRM system, whatever that you're using, or is it coming from analytics, which in this case is not Google Analytics, but that is our tracking that's been set up on your website, and we try to understand, is that coming from the tracking, or where is that information coming from? You'll be able to also identify devices, user country, browser, specific browsers that people are using. So there's a bunch of different things that you can filter on. And then again, group by. At the moment, we're looking at browser, but you'll be able to look at, for example, show me channel and source. So in this case, we're asking, based on this quarter and for new business, please show me the channel and the respective source that is generating or influencing deals. That brings us to the next point, which is here. We're seeing an amount of 17 influenced deals, and then we're seeing 7 deals. Now, what should I believe? Is it influence deals or deals that we care about? It is influence deals. Why is it influence deals? Because the deals, they will be changing depending to the attribution model. We are applying data-driven at the moment, but if we applied, for example, W-shaped or U-shaped, deals will probably shown as a fraction. First and last touch will show always a round number. So the number of deals changes based on the attribution model. The topic of attribution is another video that you can look into when we are analyzing revenue analytics. But just to give you an idea, attribution means that we are attributing to each of the touch points in your journey a certain amount of value. And that depends on what model you're choosing. Based on the model that you choose, each touch point gets a certain amount of value, and that gets added. And the added value in this case brings out to be approximately 7 deals that would be attributed to these channels. But since that changes so much depending on the attribution model, we recommend you to focus on the influence deals. The influence deals tells you that in 17 customer journeys, we know that these channels have been a touch point. And that helps you then to also further analyze below here what channel had how many influenced deals, how many deals did each channel influence, and what exactly are those deals. So we're looking at the next part of the report, which is channel and source performance. If you click on the channel and source performance, the whole table will open up, so you'll see much more. But at the moment, we show you always in the small summary the approximately 10, 11 most performing channels, and you'll be able to see visitors. That means the anonymous people that came to your website through that channel, contacts, the people that we have identified through them giving us their email address. That could be a sign up through for a webinar, a demo, a product sign up, whatever. That gives us an email address. So we have contacts identified and we have companies identified. Companies and contacts must not always be the same. Sometimes we have identified more companies than contacts, and that is because we have two ways of identifying companies. That could be either a contact is giving us their work email address, or it happens that a visitor, anonymous visitor, is actually using the same IP address as a company. Then we connect the dots and then identify companies that way as well. Influence deals. So here we can see then, okay, we have these blue numbers, which show us each channel, how many deals did it influence, and we can click on them and it will show us what are those deals and connect it directly to journeys. I won't click on it right away because I'd like to continue with the other reports that we can find under performance. The next report is called content. Content is based on your website. So we are looking at what content is performing best, what pages are people looking at, and yeah, content is basically something that you set up at the beginning. A video for that is also within our learning materials, so you can look into how to set up that content. But so the idea is to not only track certain pages, but catch a specific content where you would like to see, are people landing on my blog? Are people looking at certain content that we are generating or the content team is working on? And that is what you would like to understand here. So as we know it already from acquisition, we have a time filter, stage. In this case here, we are not applying any attribution. You'd look at content category. That is something that you set up under settings. And then we have, of course, also other filters such as channels, source, campaigns, events if you're looking for specific events, company country or visitor country. That means you can look at what companies are being represented. So what companies are looking at what content, from what country do that companies come from, or are these companies located? Same as visitors when we're looking at specific individuals. Same story, you can look for aggregation by day, week, or month, and then group by URL or secondary group by. We always recommend leave that one as URL and use the secondary group by to select channel, channel and source, campaign, source, or campaign. The metric on the graph can also be defined. At the moment, we're looking at influenced leads, prospects, and deals, but we could be looking at views, sessions, visitors, contacts, companies, and so on. So what we're seeing here is we had for this quarter, for the new business, this amount of views on our website, this amount of sessions. We had this amount of visitors on the website, so views on content, but visitors on the website. Contacts identified based on them delivering an email address, and out of those also companies that we could match with. In total, 82 conversions. That means whenever a conversion means, it could be also a page view, but that depends on what you define a conversion, which is also under settings. A video for that is also being prepared. But then the influence leads as we know them, how many deals or leads did, depending on the stage that you're analyzing, it will be a deal or will be a lead, or opportunities, also depending on your setup. But the idea is these are the 17 deals that our content has been influencing. So far we know content has contributed to something, and now the question is what content, which pages are the most viewed? So here we will always show you approximately the top 10. But if you'd like to understand a bit better what pages are actually performing, we have something that is the performance group by none, in this case because we haven't set up any specific um, secondary group by, but we could say show me please channel and source, and then we'll have down here saying performance group by channel and source, and we can see then our URL, we can see what channel people are coming from, the performance, if it's a low performing page or average or high performing page. Whenever we click on the title, we can rearrange them. And then we see the amount of sessions people had. By clicking on the table and then scrolling, we can see also the amount of influenced deals per session, the percentage. And so how do we know that a deal is, or that a page is high, average, or low performing? That depends on the amount of session. A page that is low performing, or even a page where we say, for example, there's insufficient data, that means it's below 250 sessions. We have some pages that you can see here. For example, this one is low performing, even though we have a bunch of sessions, and this one is high performing, even though the number of sessions is significantly lower. This is because then we need to check on the second characteristic, and that is how many influence leads do we have in per session on percentage. And then you'll see that the low performing page has 0.28%, while the high performing page 2.42% influence deals per session. So that is higher and that's performing best. So we know here, for example, that in this case, our demo company has a content analytics page, which is performing quite well. Let's go to the next report, and that is paid. So paid consists of having a complete overview of all your paid and ad networks, a return on ad spend overview, and then you'll see all the sources that you have connected down here. So you could dig into each and every source and understand what campaigns are actually performing for that specific source. We will have a look right now at return on ad spend, so an overview to see in general what is working. As usual, now here again, we apply attribution. We're looking at a new business and this quarter, and we can see here we had for paid performance a total cost of, for this quarter, of 31,000. We know how many impressions that generated, how many clicks we got on that ad, how many visitors that generated for the website, contacts, and companies. Cost, impressions, and clicks, that information comes from your ad network. So that is something we get from there. Visitors on the website, contacts, and companies, that is information we get through our tracking. And then we come here to the same story as usual. Influence deals 7, but in total for each of the single touches in that journey, it amounts to 1 deal. So each touch gets a fraction of the value, right? We can see here best performing, G2 and Google. And then below here again, ad network performance overview, where you can also again look into, okay, how many visitors did we have, contacts and companies, and then the value that we've generated. But then if you'd like to understand a bit further how, for example, G2 is working or performing, then you would go to paid and jump directly into the G2 ads to dig deeper into how is it performing exactly, what is working under G2 that is so predominantly better than the rest of the ad networks in this case. Organic works quite similar. We have SEO, Google search, and social media. If we click on Google search, it will show us Google search based on organic and how it's performing for this quarter. Let's see what our demo account tells us. Okay, so we had 5,000 visitors, we had 465 contacts, we have a certain amount of companies also generated, influence deals. And so now I'd like to understand a bit further what is working best. And we can see again here landing pages, impressions, amount of clicks that we received, and visitors, companies that we could identify. So you can see that the reports are built up quite similar. However, if you'd like to understand what are those contacts and so on that you have generated, here as well, we also see the keywords that are working best. It's as said here as a query performance. So these are the keywords, these are the words that people are looking for under organic search. But so if you'd like to see, okay, show me the contacts and show me what is performing, that is when you go to acquisition, because there you'll have the report with the clickable numbers. And so in this case, let's see, would like to understand organic search while we were here. 11 deals, please show me those 11 deals. And that will jump directly to journeys. So we're looking at journeys right now, where we can see our companies, contacts, and deals. At the moment, we can see the 11 deals that were generated so far. And then we have the different companies here where we can actually click on them and then see what is actually working for this specific company. So very beautiful. We can see the stages up here. We can see how much or how long does it take from the first touch to new business. We can see how long it takes from first touch to SQL and from SQL to new biz in total. We can see also here below the amount of people that have been involved, and we can see even one that is anonymous. So when you're looking at this list of contacts and you see, why do we have this bunch of numbers? This is an anonymous ID that each anonymous visitor on your website gets assigned to, so that whenever that person is actually giving us their email address, we will be able to connect the dots. Information concerning the name and title comes directly from your CRM. If that information is missing, that's because it's not in your CRM and we couldn't fetch it from there. So what do I do exactly with these dots? And what is this? This is the customer journey, showing you that we started with this person, and that person actually, through organic search, converted already, so gave us their email address. Each of the dots that you can see here are clickable. And the idea here is, depending, it doesn't matter if you're working in marketing or working in sales, look into the different stakeholders that you can see here, click on them, and try to understand what is it that they're looking at, what content is it that brought them in, who is coming into the game at what point in time. And then, so in this case, let's click on the green dot to see what happened here. They have converted, so we can see they have been at our website a few times, and then they looked at, and so they downloaded an ebook. Through the ebook, we received their email address. So ebook download is a conversion set up on our demo account. So you can also decide what should be counted as a conversion. So it could be also a meeting booked, for example, or sign up for a webinar. Whatever it is that you count as a conversion, that would be then the green dot. And then we can see that the person continued looking at different pages on our website. So we can go back. And we can also look at here, let's see, this is direct, for example. Then we have here another conversion point through Google Paid. So let's look at what happened here. We can see the two different, through different pages that they looked at. And they clicked an email. So really important here also to say, we're looking also at emails, but we're only looking at those emails that have a clickable link in it. So we recommend you that if you are working in sales and you want to see emails in this report, please make sure to log your emails in the CRM system. And second, make sure that each of your emails have something clickable. Book a demo, book a meeting, any kind of link that is clickable will show the email in here in case that they're opening and clicking it. We are not showing emails that are without links, because that would, for once, populate our report with a lot of dots that are irrelevant, and second, you lose the overview. That's why we recommend you to add a link, because these are the powerful emails where we know our prospect is actually engaging with us, interested in booking a meeting, or to investigate further the product that we have. Interesting for you also to know, when we're looking at companies, Dreamdata is account based, so here we're looking at companies, but you could also investigate company leads. That means most of the cases, this is data from um, probably marketing campaigns that we had of leads that have not been touched yet, have no account owner, and where you in sales, for example, could work on, start investigating. Do we see people here? Mostly in these accounts, you will see anonymous people, but it doesn't matter. Even if there's anonymous, you know this company is interested. You can investigate what content are they looking at, and then go to LinkedIn and search for who is the right person to reach out to. Another thing that you can do is also go to journeys, go to deals, and try to find out for this quarter, how many deals did we close? 3. And then what kind of deals are those? Who was involved? Can we replicate those journeys? Can we do more of whatever worked in this recipe? Probably we can, but this is for you to investigate.